Welcome to the continuation of the Lead Marketing Conference with its focus on loyalty, engagement, analytics, and digital applications. I'm your host, John Karolewski. Thank you for joining us. We have several more presentations on the agenda on topics such as digital marketing, shopper behavior, couponing, product sampling, and more. You can stay with us the rest of the day or just log in and out to hear only those presentations that interest you. Now, this webinar is interactive. If you have questions, type them in the chat box in the lower left of your screen. We'll answer them along the way and at the end as time allows. And finally, at the end of each program, there will be a one-question quiz for valuable prizes. The question will be based on the presentation, so pay attention. Our next presentation deals with the new promotion equation, specifically how retailers and vendors can work together for optimal ROI. Joining me now are Tom O'Reilly, President and CEO of Aptaris, and Mike Haaf, President of Strategic Management Advisory Services. Tom, take it away.
Great. Thank you very much, John. Good morning, everyone. I feel like we should be on one of the reality shows here because we've got two gentlemen here that have sat on the opposite side of the desk over the years. And I think as we talk about our careers here just real quick, you'll see that we could probably make a reality show out of this. My name's Tom O'Reilly, as they said, President of Aptaris, and my background goes back to the start of Marriage Meal, and the development of that product nationwide, and then with the revolution of circulars, played in that arena, and in last 7 or 8 years have been very involved with regard to the marketing automation as well as tying that into the full merchandise cycle. So it's good to be here today, and hope we supply you with some information that's delivers a lot of good questions and also helps paint a clearer picture for where the future's going. Mike?
Tom, thanks. Hi, my name is Mike Haaf. I'm President at Strategic Management Advisory Services, a consultancy. For the past 20 years, I've been Chief Marketing Officer in a variety of multi-unit, data-rich industries, everything from financial services and specialty retail through grocery and hospitality. And I can tell you as a retailer, I can absolutely see things are changing. As retailers, we're getting hit on all sides. The promotional environment is in flux. Traditional promotional funding is flat to declining. Our manufacturing trading partners are demanding more ROI from any promotions that they do choose to fund. And we're seeing a major shift to shopper marketing. Not only that, aside from all this promotional change that's going on, the marketing environment is changing radically as well. We're all aware of all of the new media that are available, everything from mobile and local marketing to social marketing to some of the more prosaic forms of search engine marketing and search engine optimization. All of these are changing at the same time the promotional environment is changing. There's a demand for advanced analytics and predictive modeling to understand what's working and what's not, how to better target consumers, whether it's one-to-one in small segments or mass messaging for brand purposes. And all of this is taking place in an environment where resources are constrained. I'm sure that none of our management teams are asking us, hey, would you like a few extra dollars for your ad budget, or could you use a couple of more FTE to help get this done? So the question I have is, in this changing environment, are we making and taking opportunities? Tom and I were talking earlier, and I shared with him a funny story my father explained to me once. And if you could bear with me for a few seconds to digress. He told me this story. In the woods, a skunk was walking down a trail, and he wandered up upon a big black bear. The skunk turned around, raised his tail, and it was a happy ending for the skunk. A week later, this same skunk was walking through the trail in the woods and crossed a railroad track where he began walking down that trail. He saw a locomotive barreling down towards him. He turned around, raised his tail. There was a completely other outcome to the story. My question is, Do we want to stick with the old approach that may have served us well in the past in an environment that is rapidly changing? And, if we don't want to be railroad kill like that skunk was, I think the answer is no. We need to change and take advantage of this new environment that we find ourselves in.
Mike, those are all great comments that you're bringing up, and hopefully with what we're able to show you from this changing environment is that there is a way to answer all these questions and take advantage of all these opportunities out here through the optimization of some technology and connecting the silos that exist within organizations today and being able to deliver the message that you're looking to be able to deliver consistently.
So we have a question for you, and would love to get your thoughts on this. In 2013, what percentage of sales did the top 50 CPG manufacturers dedicate to marketing? That's all marketing. How do we, Linda, ask for folks to vote on the survey?
They just select their answer and submit, and they're coming in.
All right. Great.
This is like The Voice.
This is like The Voice. Why is your hair blonde, Adam?
I think we got a good selection there.
Okay, skip to results. So it looks like about 67% of us, 2/3 of us, think that it's between 10 and 20%, and about 7% of us think it is 40%, and 1/4 of us think 30%. The answer to this question is 30% of CPG manufacturers' total sales are dedicated to marketing. Inside of that, about 64% of that is dedicated to a combination of trade promotion and shopper marketing. Now, that trade promotion and shopper marketing combined has been relatively flat. But what's going on right now in the industry is a shift. Trade promotion is flat to down, but shopper marketing activities, particularly digital, are growing really, really quickly. And so the question is, how can we create processes, systems to take advantage of that shift? So trade promotion down, shopper marketing up. I talk about shopper marketing, and briefly let me describe this. These are all activities that are driven to the shopper. So typically they're defined as having no price or term components to the offer. They include things like digital, social, local, mobile, retail marketing experience efforts are all included in shopper marketing. We mentioned earlier that there's a proliferation of channels and devices. We talked about mobile just a moment ago. All of us have smartphones on us. Many of us have iPads and different pad-type computers. And the question is, how do we format our offers to best fit those different media types? And importantly, which media types are best suited for which types of offers? Deals currently require more and more sophistication and coordination with our trading partners. Buy one of these, get 2 of those. Buy 5 products from Kraft and get a discount on this. And these are all sorts of complex system requirements that are necessary to enable us to deliver on this. There's a shift in consumer demographics and psychographics, and there's a bigger and bigger need for branding and understanding exactly not just who the consumer is in general, but who our targeted customers are, and understanding them deeply enough so that we know which offers, and not just which offers, but which media do we choose to reach out to them. There's a drive for expanded customer segmentation. Exactly what do the customers want from us? What do they want on promotion? What do they just want to have available for browsing in our assortment? And finally, the notion of data in disparate systems makes processes hard to manage, as we are adding a tremendous amount of complexity to our environment with all of the changes I just outlined above. Do we have one way, one system, one process to allow us to view all of these different promotions in media in terms of overarching campaigns so that we can best coordinate, reach, and connect with consumers? So at the risk of being a little bit preachy, I want to talk about the overall marketing process, really just to set a little bit of context. This is really about building a business around the customer. And it is, frankly, a little bit different than most retailers that I've worked with approach the business. Most retailers really take a product-centered approach to the business. And that makes sense, right? You know, our industry was started on being a distribution system for branded products. But with the proliferation of data and systems that are available to us today, we are able to reach the Holy Grail, and that is using data to develop a deeper relationship with consumers. The process starts off with research, understanding the consumers, understanding what they're all about, and then using that research and bringing analytics to bear and making meaningful segments out of these. So when I operated in the hospitality space, one of the biggest attributes was who's paying for the night's stay. Is it out of my own pocket, or is some corporation paying for it? You might guess who was more price sensitive there. In office products, is this a small or medium-sized business? Is this a personal buy? And understanding that radically changed what we offered, the size of the pack, and how we offered it. And in grocery, it was about demographics and psychographics associated with the household. You could imagine that empty nesters would have very, very different needs from households that have growing families. And understanding their income and wealth gave us great clarity on how to change assortment, change merchandising, even pricing for different categories and SKUs inside of each of our stores. The key to segmentation is that it has to be mutually exclusive and comprehensively exhaustive. That is, each customer that we are segmenting, each consumer we're segmenting, must reside in one segment and cannot reside in any more than one segment. With this level of granularity, we are really able to create predictive analytics. We are able to impinge tests on like groupings of people to determine what works and what doesn't, and how to develop ROIs and then spend more on the things that are making us more money. The idea of targeting and positioning, understanding who the richest potential customer segments are, and then beginning to design our entire go-to-market strategy based on how to reach them. While I was at Food Line, we created a very, very sharp brand delineation for Food Line and found that in some of the markets we competed in, we didn't have the brand rights. In certain markets, we were simply not upscale enough and didn't meet the gourmet needs of some of the consumers in that trade area. In other markets, people didn't believe that our prices were lower than Walmart's, largely because they weren't. And so what we did with these segmentation and targeting insights is we used them to create totally different brands of stores. The Bloom brand was designed to meet the needs of a group of customers called the Affluent Bunch, and we created something called Bottom Dollar Foods, radically changing the store footprint from 38,000 feet to 15,000 feet, from 35,000 SKUs to 6,000 SKUs, and from 10% labor to 4% labor, and all of that enabled us to change our pricing in that space. Bringing to life the marketing mix, product, price, place, and promotion to deliver all that was how we brought those to life. And then finally, flawless execution, requiring that all of the functions in the organization work seamlessly together, and then understanding what worked and what didn't by measuring and controlling the information. The promotion process is a significant portion of how we fund marketing success. We talked about product, price, place, and promotion. The question is, how do we capture all available deals as we develop promotions? What is it the customer wants as opposed to what the manufacturer is offering? And how do we create organized campaigns from the chaos that is all of these different promotions, products, prices, and media selections? Looking at execution, we need to find the right products. We need to develop creative. We need to do versioning. And we need to have the resources that allow us to do all of this in a changing environment. From administration, we need to understand proof of performance so that we can get our funds collected from the manufacturer quickly and efficiently. We need to understand how to process bill-backs. And finally, measurement. Do we have budgeted success metrics? Are they integrated everywhere with our financial systems, with our planning systems, with our inventory systems? And do we have test and learn capabilities that allow us to plan for continuous improvements? The idea is to create straightforward, consistent analysis that will allow us access to more and more funds. And this process, is really sort of a best case. Many of us don't operate in that best case environment. Tom, I'm going to switch over to you.
Great. Well, I've got a slide here that I'd just like to spend a few minutes and go through with everybody and get into a little bit of deep detail. I'm just kidding, folks. The reality is that Mike paints a utopia of how great the marketing and merchandising world can be tied together and what the opportunities are in there. The reality that we're all faced with is a flow chart that I've got up on the board right now that shows one of the customers that we worked with, what their process of entering a deal from the manufacturer into their system and the different places that it touched and the number of people that had to be involved with it. So I won't go into that this chart because obviously it's the bowl of spaghetti up against the wall. But the fact is that for all of us to be able to move where Mike is talking about, we've got to find solutions on how we're going to fix this. So the number of touch points that we found in some customers can be into different systems or changes that are being made can be anywhere from 5 to 10 different times as we go through the process. And not only just within the deal system that they're working with, but all the other systems that are applicable that need to be processed within that. So the revolution that I believe is occurring right now is how can we tie this all together and make this a seamless execution for us to be able to look at what the new world can look like as far as how we communicate to our customers and maximize our funding. So to succeed in this environment, we're going to have to figure out how to be simple, clear, and be integrated as far as what our processes are. Having worked with retailers for the last 15 years on how to clean up processes and be able to streamline how information flows. The last one really talks about the promotion cycle. If we were to put the advertising cycle up and how decisions are made, if it was just once through the system, it would be great. It's all the multiple times that it goes through the system that creates the absolute mayhem that is involved in trying to deal with not only getting your normal advertising out, but all the other opportunities that are unfolding in front of us. So with this, how do we tie it so that we're integrated with the manufacturers, meeting the needs of what they want to do and what they want to support, and with this still being able to drive the results that we're giving the shoppers the messages that they'd like to have?
Tom, if I could add on there, as a chief marketing officer for 20 years, I tell you that the ability to create simple, repeatable, mistake-proof processes is absolutely critical, and it is a rare capability. That is hard work. In addition to that, there have never really been any systems or integrating processes to help facilitate that work. Tom talked about the effort and described in the previous slide of just creating promotions. Inside of a marketing organization, inside of a retail organization, there are three different functions, three different organizations who are responsible for the marketing mix, right? Merchandising has a big say in product and promotion. Marketing talks about pricing and does the creative aspects of the promotion. Store operations has to be integrated to make sure execution is in place. And without a single unifying view of how to bring all of our efforts to life, I found my organizations challenged. They were managing, they were allowing the urgent tactical activities to overtake the important strategic and value-adding activities, and preventing us from creating those deeper connections with shoppers and continuously improving our performance.
So, Mike, I'd add to that is then how do we bring order to this promotional chaos that goes on? And as you talked about, we've got this endless revolution, no matter a circle of connections that happen, that no matter what the advertising is and how we put it together. So it all starts with someone creating a plan and marketing and advertising and developing the real estate of where the message needs to go. Then going to the manufacturers and determining what deals we can put in there and how do we maximize the shopping experience as well as the promotional funding that's able to get, turning those into offers and where those are going to be delivered and when they're alive on the shelf or within the circular or in the direct mail piece or online. And then being able to put that creative together, execute it seamlessly, but most of all being able to come back and look at it, how did this work? And how do we not fall into just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, but to be able to stop this cycle a little bit and be able to get to information very quickly that can help make better decisions. And I think also it begins to break down the silos if we can make these connections between all of these different departments that are represented within the middle of the promotion cycle. And with that, it allows people to begin to sing off the same song sheet, and as I like to say, play in the sandbox together very well, and break down those disparate silos of one hand not knowing what the other's doing. So the solution that we bring to the marketplace with regard to this is enterprise marketing management. That's what Aptaris, there's other people out there that supply this, but this is our view of how we look at it. And we believe that it's really a foundational piece of software that starts off and connects and integrates planning and negotiation and tying in all the various parts and pieces of what needs to happen. So from one customer that we went in and did our initial study with, and I don't know if this rings true with anybody, and it was a large national retailer, that they had 28 different systems and processes that they were working that were none of them connected across all the departments from finance to IT to merchandising to advertising to creative. They were all disparate systems, and all of them had varying degrees of where they connected. And by coming in and creating this enterprise solution into the center, we were able to cut the number of systems and spreadsheets that were being passed around down to 14, and we were able to connect them so that the message was able to be communicated across all systems. So just imagine a world in which merchandising understands where marketing and what they're trying to accomplish and what real estate they have, is able to go out and automate the process of how they communicate to their vendors, be able to look at their sales forecast, their baselines, and understand what the promotional lift might be, be able to look at the item master and all of the other results that are needed to make sure that that right product, somebody comes to the scanner with a diet caffeine-free soft drink that didn't get included within it, ends up not being included in the deal, but it should be, and you've got to go back and reprogram that within all of your point-of-sale communication. And then being able to come back and look at it and say, how did each of this advertising work for us? And what were we anticipating with it, and how does it become part of an overall strategy of how we tackle the marketplace, as opposed to what is the newest thing on the street today that we want to throw some money at and don't really know what our expectation is. So a firm believer that the connections are the key, and that this is the way for us to fix getting the right people doing the right jobs and helping to facilitate that change within your organization. And it's in some cases, warring departments that really don't want to communicate, and being able to figure out how to get that together so that there's an opportunity to streamline and simplify and get communication moving in such a way that everyone's, like I say, playing in the same sandbox.
Thanks, Tom. So what's the benefit of doing this? We are able to turn our attention and, importantly, our resources to what it is that we want to achieve. This understanding that we have of what we want to achieve and how to do it, given the resources and time that the systems Tom just described allow us to have, really creates an opportunity for us to deliver outsized value to the customer. The whole notion of taking scarce resources, taking them off the tactical, and putting them on the strategic will allow us to create a much more compelling place to shop. That compelling place to shop where customers have what they want, when they want it, at the price they want to pay for it, and learn about it in the way that they are most interested and comfortable with. And the benefit to that, of course, is increasing value, revenue, and competitive opportunities for us. There was a retailer back in the mid-1800s by the name of John Wanamaker, and he once said that half my advertising dollars are wasted. I just don't know which half. The answer to that question is available to us now, but it could only be answered if we align all of the organizations and functions in our business as well as align our trading partners. The way to do that is with one integrated system, one shared view of reality, and with an ability to learn quickly and bring to bear at the appropriate level, whether it's one-to-one, segmented, or mass, the offers and promotions that our customers are most interested in.
Through this process, I've had the ability to learn a new term, which I'd like Mike to explain to us, and it's the IWOOT. Mike, you want to explain that?
Yes, the dreaded IWOOT. It's I want one of those. And as a chief marketing officer, I've enjoyed experiencing that several times. I want I want to be on a social platform. I want to do mobile marketing. I want fill in the blank. And you find yourself experiencing the dreaded IWOOT when you don't have enough time or resource to strategically look forward and understand what these opportunities are and how to integrate them holistically into campaigns that you're already executing to best reach your customer.
So I appreciate that. I like the IWOOT, and I think all of us are faced with that. And the best way for us to tackle that, I believe, is to get our systems connected. And I go back to the 28 different disparates and processes that we're able to cut in half. And what does that do as they're connected? Well, first of all, that it eliminates that stack of spreadsheets that everyone's passing around, and it helps fix that chaos. It begins to tie the merchandising, the marketing, IT, and operations together. And by connecting these systems, it allows access so that as these different departments are connected through permission-driven, as you make a change in merchandising, it will show up in the advertising department as soon as it happens. It's not an email being passed back and forth. As you do not want to take a deal that a vendor is offering you, the ability to turn that down or to negotiate back and forth and have that all within the same system. And then once you accept that deal, it's then able to convert it into an offer. To have this full access allows you then to eliminate a lot of the re-entry of the data in multiple systems that might occur throughout the whole process of what we're dealing with from start to finish, from making the deal to delivering it to the customer. But most important, I think, also within that is the ability to know that because of the number of keystrokes that are going on, the number of people that are involved in it, and the ability to be able to connect the people, you end up with data integrity. And it's an overuse saying that we probably are told to shy away from, but you get that one version of the truth and you don't have to go back and look through the multiple emails that somebody sent that said, wait, I wanted to change this price, or why didn't we get this canceled design kit that we didn't really need till next week because we're running behind on the store opening, however that might flow. So from an operational side, I think it's crucial to be able to have a centralized foundational system with the integrated marketing and merchandising system so that you're able to deliver. And from that, at the executive level, you're going to see that the connected systems allow people to do more with less activity. So we're refocused. It's the tyranny of the tactical that we're all working on as opposed to the strategic opportunities that are ahead of us. And so level setting the playing field by bringing in a tool that can connect these systems offers at the executive level all the way through the company the ability for people to be able to do more and to do it with less resources. Get my finger on the mouse here, the right place. So I skipped one. Sorry about that. So that with this, it then allows you to have that 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access, which some of us may not want to hear, but it's the life that we live in now in the digital age. And the ability to be on the road, be out visiting stores, working with a vendor, but be able to log into the system and with a couple clicks be able to get to the pertinent information and know that it's accurate and you can immediately begin to identify opportunities and efficiencies to be able to respond to potentially in the new digital world as we move forward. And once again, coming back to that data integrity, how important that can be, that you've got the right message going to the right people at the right price point. And it's not so much the process the first time through, but it's all the changes that we live through from when the deal's made all the way through to when it's made to a customer. If you can just imagine in your world how many times that changes, and to be able to get to that updated information and know that it's always the most current. With this, I think we're all able then to be able to make better decisions from where our budgeting dollars should be to what deals we should be offering based upon what their previous performance has been, to beginning to build that ROI and leverage that information to go back to the manufacturers and say, I'm not looking at this now just to fund my circular. I'm looking at to tap into that growing pool of customer-specific offers that you want to be able to drive to with shopper marketing. So with that, you're able to make those better decisions.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I think that's well said. Those intelligent data relationships actually create, I think, better relationships inside the organization and allow us to make those better decisions. So we started off this discussion by describing the promotional environment. It is in flux. Things are changing. There's a dynamic marketing environment. We talked about the different media, the different devices, the different analytics capabilities that we have today that we simply didn't. And with change, there's opportunity, but there's also risk. Do we have the resources and systems and processes to take advantage of this opportunity, or are we going to find ourselves on the railroad tracks underneath a locomotive? What we think retailers today need to think about is how do we gain access in this promotional space to the expanded pool of offers that are available to us? How do we develop processes that scale as this environment becomes more and more complicated? How do we choose which offers to go to which consumers? How do we choose which media? One-to-one, segmented, broadcast? How do we make these choices? And finally, how do we understand ROI for ourselves and our shareholders, as well as the customer, and importantly, for all the other trading partners, the manufacturing partners that we have, in order to take advantage of all of this?
So I go back to the opening slide with the boxing gloves and how retailers are getting hit on all sides. And hopefully we've given you an ability here to look at a different way to be able to approach the problems that we're all facing today with the complex media as well as the changing funding that's going on within the manufacturers, and trying to do that with the same amount of resources. And that we've provided some solutions here of how to use technology to take over the tactical part, how to connect and be able to tackle this complex world that we're living within retail today, and not only engage, but be able to skate to where the puck is going, as opposed to responding to what the marketplace is doing. And I think that with that, you can win the battle if we all are engaged and tied together, utilizing technology and maximizing it by changing the behaviors that we've all kind of grown up with that need to be changed now as we move into the new world. So I thank you for your time. I think we're on track and the opportunity for a few questions. So
we have one question that came in, Tom. In your experience, how many times do you find information needs to be keyed in and rekeyed in numerous times?
You know, I've seen it anywhere from 5 to 15 to 20 times, and that could just be in the deal side of it. And then you could end up with, in the advertising side of it, depending upon where the decision making is placed, there can be last minute decisions to an ad that has 50 or 60 versions to it that could end up with multiple changes that have to happen within the production of it right before it's released for direct mail or pushed out via print or social. So.
Okay, excellent. Okay, it's time for our pop quiz. The first person to type in the correct answer in the chat box in the lower left of your screen will receive an autographed copy of the book Return on Relationship by Ted Rubin and Catherine Rose. Type in only the letter of the correct answer. Here's the question based upon the presentation you just heard. Type in A, B, C, or D. And we have a winner already. The correct answer, of course, is D. And the first person who sent in D was Liza Gallagher. We'll get a copy of the book Return on Relationship, courtesy of Aptaris. Thank you all very much. Our next program will begin in 5 minutes. Until then, this is John Karolewski signing off for Aptaris, CPGmatters, and the Shopper Technology Institute.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.